Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and this is the ASUS ROG Phone 2, and to be frank, it's a beast. It's big, the specs are ridiculous, and honestly, it may be a little bit overkill. But if you play demanding games for hours on end, then it actually might be the perfect phone for you. So we get a 6.6-inch 120Hz AMOLED screen, which makes gaming and just everyday use of the phone feel incredibly smooth. Inside there's an overclocked Snapdragon 855 Plus, which has around 15% faster graphics than the regular 855, up to a whopping 12GB of RAM and 1TB of UFS 3 storage. But maybe more importantly, a massive 6000 mAh battery. That should be good for around a third longer gaming time than a regular flagship phone. So yeah, maybe a little bit excessive for just playing a spot of Candy Crush. But the thing is, it's not just about those headline specs. It's about getting sustained high performance over longer play sessions. And thanks to the advanced cooling system, the air cooler mods, and tweakable performance, this really is the ultimate gaming phone. So as I'm sure you know, I cover a lot of phones on this channel, but there's not that many gaming phones. I mean, we've got the Razer Phone 2 and like the OnePlus 7 with its 90Hz refresh, so there are some good phones for gaming, but this is all about the gaming, and not just in terms of specs, but also the screen size, the battery, the speakers, and actually I think most interestingly, the mods. So if you bear with me, we've got that one, this, air cooler, got this other dock right there, this one, and there we go. So while there may be other phones with high refresh rates and 855 Plus processors, there's nothing that can turn it into a Nintendo DS type thing or a Switch, or even connect it to this dock for a full sort of desktop PC experience with mice and keyboards and monitors, or streaming everything to your TV, or even just attaching this little air cooler. There's really nothing else like this on the market. And if you're taking your mobile gaming seriously, whether you're a streamer or you just enjoy playing way too much PUBG or Call of Duty Mobile, then this is awesome. So I've been using the ROG Phone 2 now for around a month, and while these mods and add-ons are definitely interesting and kind of a novelty, for me it's the phone itself that needs to stand out on its own. We also get this cyberpunky design, RGB aura lighting on the back. We also get an optical in-screen fingerprint reader, a headphone jack, and speedy charging thanks to the 30-watt hypercharger, although we don't get any wireless charging. Speaking of charging though, along with the USB port on the bottom, we also get a combined USB and accessory interface on the side. And this means we can actually charge it centrally while playing in landscape mode, so the cable isn't getting in the way of your hands. But more importantly, it lets you connect to the accessories, like the cooling fan and the twin view screen. But one of the absolute standout features of this has to be that screen with a 120Hz high refresh rate, double the standard on most phones. And while we have seen that on other phones like the Razer Phone 2, that uses an LCD screen. This, I believe, is the world's first AMOLED 120Hz, so we get deeper blacks and richer colors. It also supports 10-bit HDR, has a fast 1 millisecond response time with ultra-low touch latency, which means the phone can actually react to your inputs more quickly, which may even give you an advantage in some games. Now there is a fairly limited selection of titles that actually support the full 120Hz at the moment, although you can of course also run 90Hz games. When it does work though, it's amazing. And if you've ever experienced high refresh gaming on a PC, then you'll know it can actually make a difference to how good you are in the game. That said, most games, especially graphically intensive ones, will be locked to 30 or 60 FPS due to hardware constraints, so you won't really see any benefit in these, although you still benefit from the low latency and lower response time. For me though, it's the day-to-day experience using the phone and generally just how responsive it feels that's just as important. It's going to be a bit jarring going back once you've tried this. But this can have all the bells and whistles in the world, which it kind of does actually, but it's no good if it runs out in half an hour. But the good news is it has an absolutely massive 6000 mAh battery. There's nothing else quite like this out there in a relatively slim phone like this. Most flagships have between 4000 and 4500, 6000, so you're basically guaranteed 2-day battery life. But yeah, if you're taking this on the bus with you or the underground and you want to play some games, then you're not going to have any problem at all. There's no need to ration the battery. Whack up the performance, play your favorite game, and you really do not have to worry about it.
I got shot!
One of my favorite features, and probably the most underrated actually, are the air triggers, which are capacitive shoulder buttons that you use when gaming in landscape mode. Say you're playing PUBG, you can set one to shoot and the other one to toggle aiming down the sights. I really do like these, and they're a big improvement over trying to do everything with just a touchscreen. They're not exactly physical buttons, but they're slightly textured so you can feel where they are, and you can adjust how hard you have to squeeze to activate them. Now this wouldn't be a gaming phone without some sort of command center, and here we get ASUS's Armory Crate. You can actually tweak performance and tune settings for each individual game. You can set the clock speed and push the phone to even higher performance levels either automatically or manually. You can also set the refresh rate for each game and control all the RGB lighting. ASUS's Aura lighting system is pretty extensive, and you can control the color cycling options and notification effects on the ROG logo on the back, and also on any accessories that you've attached. Overall, the ROG UI is cleaner and faster than before, but if it still feels a bit too gamery for you, then you can switch to their classic Zen UI, which is much closer to stock Android. My test unit here is running on Android 9, but there should be an update to Android 10 coming in the future. Now let's talk about the cameras, which to be honest feel kind of like an afterthought on the phone. On the back there's this dual camera setup, which is pretty much the same as you get on the Zenfone 6, with a 48 megapixel f1.8 wide lens and a 13 megapixel f2.4 ultra wide. It is a big step up from the original ROG phone, but it's still not really in the same league as something like a Pixel or iPhone. Photos do still look good, although the dynamic range isn't the best, so sometimes images can miss out on details in brighter and darker areas. Honestly, one of the most surprisingly good features about this are the speakers. We have stereo speakers on the top and the bottom, but they're so good and probably the best speakers I've ever heard on a phone. They're rich, bassy, and while you still do have the option for headphones, you've got a headphone jack. Playing games or watching movies on this with these, it's so good. And while they're maybe not ideal for pure music playback, if you want a surprisingly powerful soundtrack in your games, then ASUS have nailed it. So that's the phone, but what about the whole range of accessories? Are they actually worth buying, or are they just a bit gimmicky? Well, first off, we've got the AeroCool 2, and this actually comes bundled with the phone. It doesn't cost anything extra. The ROG phone already uses vapor chamber cooling inside. It does a pretty good job, but if you're playing for hours and hours and you're on your 10th game of PUBG, then you'll want to use this to keep temperatures down and prevent throttling. It definitely kept temperatures in check, and it made the phone just more comfortable to hold for longer periods. I could even feel a bit of a breeze on my hands, which made them less sweaty. Next up, we have ASUS's kunai controllers, and I reckon these are actually the best accessory for it. So you get two Joy-Con style controllers, which can either slot into a gamepad, or into this bumper case, which turns it into a very Switch-like handheld device. Both controllers have analog sticks and shoulder buttons, while the left module also has a D-pad and a strip of Aura lighting. They're very lightweight, but they do feel a little bit plasticky, and they don't have any kind of rumble or active feedback. If you're playing a game which is compatible with the controllers though, the experience is worlds better than using a touchscreen. And if you're thinking about getting the ROG phone, then you should definitely consider these. Next up, we have the folding Twin View 2 handheld with an extra screen. And it's designed for multitasking and twin screen gaming. Just slide the phone in, flip the lock button, and that boots up the second screen. And it has a built-in 5000 mAh battery, which combined with the phone means we get a massive 11,000 mAh. The second screen is the same 120Hz AMOLED that you get on the phone, and it allows you to open any two apps side by side. You can even play two games at the same time, although good luck controlling them both. Some games though, like Asphalt 9, actually let you use the second screen in-game. In this case, you get a map of the track. But there aren't that many titles right now that work like this. Combine it with those kunai controllers though, and you can assemble a complete gaming handheld, which looks either crazy or awesome depending on how you look at it. So the Twin View 2 is pretty cool, but I wouldn't say it's essential. Then there's the mobile desktop dock. Just drop the phone in and it'll show the screen on any external display, and it acts as an I/O hub for connecting a mouse, keyboard, external storage. Connecting it was very much plug and play, and navigating around the interface and browsing was easy. And it is kind of fun being able to drop this in and see games and photos on a big screen. If a game supports mouse and keyboard or controller, then it's great, but I found that a lot didn't, so it's definitely worth looking into whether the games that you play do. So if I'm honest, I'm not really sold on this, even though the hardware itself is pretty good. Then we have the WiGig Display Dock Plus. The idea here is that you can stream the phone screen to your TV for a more console-style experience, with ASUS boasting extremely low latency using the 802.11ad connectivity. Now when I first tried this at my early hands-on, it seemed to work well and actually was a pretty good experience. But testing it at home, I've actually had a really patchy experience, with repeated dropouts and some serious lag, which to be honest may just be my setup, so I don't want to pass full judgment, but I haven't had the best experience with it. So that was a lot to take in, but the big question, should you actually buy the ROG Phone 2? Well, short answer, yeah, I would highly recommend it. If you're a big mobile gamer or you just want the best performance or bragging rights of having the most powerful phone, and I think the range of accessories, while none of them are essential, do offer something a little bit unique. I do like the fact that the cooler comes bundled with it, but out of all the other ones, I would probably go with the gamepad. Downsides? Well, probably just the camera, which is fine, but not the best out there. And also, if you do want to add some accessories, then the price can start to get a bit eye-watering. But I think for the phone itself, the base standard model, I don't think anyone should really bother with the ultimate version unless you've just got money to burn. I think it's actually pretty reasonably priced. So without question, this is the ultimate gaming phone. But what do you think? Are you tempted by it, or do you think it's just overkill? And which accessories would you go for? Let me know in the comments below. And I have also put links in the description below if you want to find out more. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed the video. And if you do want to see more from me, then click that little subscribe button down below and ding that bell, all those YouTuber cliches, just so you don't miss out on my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.